What's in your story? What's in your story? To put your past, your story on page is not an easy task. It really isn't. But far too long have we lived between two stories. The story that was written for us and the story that we get to create in this season of our lives. We linger between those two stories. This is what happened and this is what I want to happen. But at some point, we got to quit lingering between the stories and begin to reauthor our lives. The hardest part is often not in the sharing, but the completing the process of sharing our story, because we have fears of the past, fears of mediocrity, fears of failure, fears of not being successful. But sharing your story is a life-changing process to help you move beyond these fears. It's your chance to explore the shadows and the joys of who you are, to claim them, and then move forward with new levels of confidence, with new levels of clarity, and with new levels of courage. Sharing your story will give you more meaning and more purpose in your life. I'm telling you, it will. I know firsthand. You get to see your life differently. When you start to unraveling your story and delving deeply into it, you get to see your life differently. It's only when we stand and tell our stories that we can reclaim our true power and own who we are and own our lives to see its greater purpose and meaning and the greater context of why you had to go through what you went through, why you had to journey that path. When we share our stories, it does these few things. I'm going to share with you what sharing your story does. It frees your soul. It's a liberator of your soul. Number two, it moves you toward wholeness and growth, to a greater awareness of who you are. When I started digging into my story, I learned so much about myself, about my life, and about why certain things had to happen. And when I was going through these things, some of them that were horrible, I didn't understand it, but it all makes sense now. So it moves you toward wholeness and growth, to a greater awareness of who you are. Sharing your story reveals your essence, the truth of who you are at the core. And not just to other people, but to you. You get to know yourself at a deeper level. Sharing your story, it helps us come to terms with our shadows. The parts of us we don't know are the parts of us that we don't like. You begin to integrate those parts of you and say, wow, well, she's really not that bad. What I thought was something negative really is something very positive and powerful. So it helps us come to terms with the parts that we don't like and the parts that we don't know. It reveals you to yourself deeper. It bridges the inner and outer realities. It takes your internal, the who you are, the divine part of you, and the external, the outer essence of who you are, and it brings them together. My dear, that is what's called transformation. And it allows us to own our truth. Oh my goodness, how often are we owning somebody else's truth for our lives? But now you get to own your truth. Do you know how powerful and liberating that is?